Hey friends, this is Steve Anderson, creator and co-host of the Youth Ministry Sherpas podcast. I know it's been a while since you've heard from us. My good friend Matthew McCabe has moved on to other things. But I'm excited to announce that the show is back with new co-hosts, new music, a YouTube channel, but the same great goal of helping youth workers everywhere. We're calling it Youth Ministry Sherpas Coast to Coast. I can't wait for you to hear it. So roll down your windows and let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Youth Ministry Sherpas Coast to Coast. I'm Steve Anderson. You might remember me from the previous show, Youth Ministry Sherpas, and we are back with a new show, new co-host. We're really excited to get this thing started. Let me introduce you to these fine folks. First, this is Brock Morgan. Hey, Brock.
What's up, Steve? Let's do this.
Let's do this. And welcome Shannon Dunn.
Hello. Hi, guys.
So we are three youth ministry veterans. We are on opposite ends of the United States, from Maryland all the way to California. And we have this idea for a show that hopefully will be part of your weekly experience in student ministry and be really helpful for you. So welcome aboard, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, we're excited.
So we came up with a little tagline for the show. I shared it with you guys over text. Youth ministry with the windows down.
Ooh.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
I don't know what it means, but I like it.
I love driving down the coast with my windows down. It's got really good vibes when you have your windows down, so I like it too.
Do you live right off Highway 1?
Yeah, I can pretty much see it from my house.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. So Shannon is in Malibu, California.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about Malibu, Shannon.
Malibu is 21 miles long, stretching along the coast of California. So there's not really a central Malibu, which is really interesting. And it's very small town community, actually, with high wealth. If you didn't assume that about Malibu, it has high wealth.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Home of Barbie and the Malibu Dream House.
Is it really?
Oh,
Yeah, there's currently Airbnb that you can rent because the Barbie movie's coming out. That's like a giant pink Barbie house.
Wow, that's just terrifying.
Truth.
And Brock, tell us where you are.
I'm a little more inland and south from Shannon. I'm in a town called Chino, and it's famous. Chino Hills is famous for the Ball brothers, if you know the NBA and that whole deal. So yeah, I'm maybe 45 minutes from Shannon.
Do you have a Barbie house in Chino?
Just to play one.
Okay.
Not life size.
Not life size, no.
That's unfortunate. Well, I'm in Maryland, Frederick, Maryland. I'm a youth pastor here, been here for a while. And so we're on opposite ends of the United States. Frederick is a town of about 70,000 people. And little known fact, it is the second largest city in the state of Maryland. So there you go.
All right.
Pretty cool place.
It's just
Pretty
a
cool place to
little
live.
weird that you're bragging already this early in the show, Steve.
Well, you know, when you have a co-host from Malibu, you
Gotta top it.
You gotta grab all the glory you can because
she said small town, and you were like, "Well, actually."
I know we're like well under 10,000. I think we're in the.
That's crazy.
8,000,
I didn't
9,000.
realize, number one, that Malibu was 21 miles long, and then that there's only 10,000 people.
Yeah,
That's crazy. But anyway, back to you, Steve, in Frederick, Maryland.
Frederick, Maryland. So anyway, Youth Ministry Sherpas. So our previous show, the old show, was the tagline was helping youth workers to keep going. This one is slightly different, youth ministry with the windows down. And I think what we're trying to do is create an environment where we're going to have really fun, vulnerable, encouraging conversations about student ministry and see where that leads. So, yeah. What do you guys think?
I think you nailed it. I'm excited. I think we're going to be honest. I like that you said vulnerable. When you sent me that tagline, that's the exact first word that came to my mind. I was like, that's because we want to be real with everyone listening.
Youth ministry is full of challenges. It's rare to be a youth pastor for many, many years. And I would love it if anything we do could inspire people to stay in this and experience some of the benefits of longevity. So that's what the show is going to be about. A little bit about how we came up with this idea. So about 5 years ago, my friend Matthew McCabe and I started a show called Youth Ministry Sherpas. We had a great run, 3 years, almost 200 episodes. And it came to an end about 2 years ago. Matthew decided to get out of student ministry, and COVID had kind of crushed everybody's hopes and dreams. And so we just kind of fizzled out at a point where I never felt like I'd really finished what I wanted to do with the show. And so it's been in the back of my mind for a couple years of trying to get this back on and what that might look like. And first person I thought of was my good friend Brock. We met through the first show and became friends, and we've gotten together a few times with our families and so forth. And Brock, I just thought you'd be a great co-host. Lots of experience, a diverse experience around the country, different places, different sized churches. And I reached out to you and you said yes. So I don't know why.
Oh, man, I was humbled. I had been a guest on the Youth Ministry Sherpas. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
And we always had an awesome conversation. And so I was honored you reached out.
Yeah, I was honored that you said yes. It's a little difficult now because we're in different time zones. But as Brock and I talked, he had this brilliant idea and a very wise idea of suggesting that we add a female voice to the show, which is a fantastic concept, but hard to find. So we started to brainstorm who we might ask, and I reached out to some friends.
It's not because there aren't awesome women. It's because we were looking for the one jewel.
That's right.
Thanks, Brock.
Yeah.
Shannon has had a great voice within DYM, the DYM community, and has a lot of experience in youth ministry. I reached out to her randomly. We've never met in person.
That's right.
And I don't know. Why'd you say yes?
That is a great question. I don't know. No, I mean, I was excited. I feel like I want to encourage any women who, want to be in youth ministry, and youth ministry is my passion, which we'll talk about later. But I think that if I can be a representative of a woman who's been in youth ministry for a long time and stuck through it, then I want to do that for women. And so I loved that you guys were looking for a woman to add to your lineup.
Yeah. So because the three of us don't know each other as well as Matthew and I did, there's going to be some stops and starts in this show as we kind of find our way, but we think it's going to be a great vibe, great conversations, and we're really glad that you've joined us today. So let's talk a little bit about our backgrounds. I thought it'd be fun if we started off with lying, because lying is part of being an effective youth pastor. Anybody who can tell a good story usually exaggerates it slightly. So I suggested that we come up with 4 lies and a truth, kind of a different spin on the 2 truths and a lie. They looked at me like, that's a lot of lies.
Should we share how long it came up with each of us to come up with lies so we know who is the biggest sinner?
Oh, absolutely. How long did it take you?
I have no idea.
I had a hard time coming up with, first of all, which truth, and then coming up with lies that weren't ridiculous.
Yeah.
It actually was a more difficult exercise than I
Are you trying to say you're more connected to Jesus and it was harder for you to lie?
Yes,
than
that's
us?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, if that's the case, why don't you go ahead, Brock? Let's
Let's
hear your lies, and let's
Come
see
on.
if Shannon and I can determine which one might be true.
Ladies go first.
No, this is an equal playing field here.
All right.
Okay.
All right, here we go. 4 truths and a lie. Or is it? No. 4 lies and a truth. Oh my goodness, I'm already messing up. Okay, number 1, I grew up in a bus. Number 2, the Kardashians were in my youth group. Number 3, I've been in 1 film. And number 4, I have sung background vocals on a Switchfoot song.
Okay, so one of those is true.
That's only 4.
You know what? I only wrote down.
Did you?
Me too. I did the same thing.
All right, so this is 3 truths. I mean,
3 lies and a true.
We're doing 3 lies and a truth.
You changed my game already. It's okay. It's like the kids in my youth
Shannon
group. They never follow the rules.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Shannon.
All right.
You
Bus,
got an opinion?
Kardashians, film, Switchfoot.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's been in more films than just 1.
That could be.
I think maybe he grew up in a bus.
I actually think he did grow up in a bus because I know his parents were like old school Christian rockers. So.
Oh, you knew more than I knew, but all right, that's my guess.
The Kardashian thing, though.
Listen, I'm from Kardashian land, okay, Calabasas, and so I don't think they were in your youth group, Brock.
I'm going to go with that as the lie. I don't think they were in his youth group. I don't think Kardashian's ever been to youth group.
Are you sure?
Well, if they were in your youth group, you didn't have a very good effect on them. So
which Kardashians?
The original,
Be more specific.
The original 3.
Oh, no! I'm gonna say that's a lie. I think you grew up in a bus.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, you guys suck. So, Steve bringing up the fact that my parents were in a rock band. Crap! I forgot you knew that.
Yeah.
I really wanted to hear that you did background vocals on a Switchfoot song, though. That
one just
what I wanted
into my brain. I'm not sure
why.
It's good.
That's real good.
It's good. One of my dreams.
Yeah. So my parents were in a Christian rock band, and so the first 10 years of my life, in that bus, going everywhere, it was awesome. I will say this though, I was on. So Kathy Lee Gifford was in my church. And when she was on the Today Show, she invited me and my family on the show the same morning that the Kardashians were there. And so I sat on the couch with the Kardashians, hugged them. So I do know them, but they were not in my youth group.
All right.
And then when it comes to movies and Switchfoot, not a chance. Those are just nowhere near the truth.
Hey, Brock, I have a bus question.
Yeah.
So when I picture this bus, we just watched Jesus Revolution last weekend, my wife and I, right?
Right there.
I'm picturing like a school bus, but psychedelic colors.
That's what I pictured.
And you guys just like all piling into the school bus and driving around the country with the windows down. Is that what it was like, or was it like a legitimate tour bus?
Yeah, I mean my parents' band were like successful. So like a school bus sounds terrible. No. There was a kitchen and beds.
What?
And it was nice. Come on.
Oh man!
Although
you just
my
blew
dream is to buy a yellow school bus and convert it into an RV. That's my dream.
Okay. My image has changed of what your parents did now. I just imagine a bunch of hippie-like Christian singers walking off a psychedelic school bus.
Yeah. No,
showering once a week, in the ocean.
Afros. There was a lot of afros and that whole thing. But no, that was a nice bus. And we went through maybe 2 or 3.
Well, yeah, it was until you were 10, so it's got to be a nice bus.
Yeah. So, and to be honest, I didn't really, we also had a house that we would, after the tour, go to.
Sure.
So even that is kind of a lie.
So wait, were you homeschooled?
I guess I was just 4 lies. Was I homeschooled?
Were you homeschooled?
Yeah, I was for a short period of time. There was a season in which my parents put me in real school, which meant 6 months out of the year, which is their touring. They were on a month, off a month. 6 months out of the year, I didn't see them. And so that was hard on little Brock.
Yeah.
Especially hard on my older sister. But then they figured out homeschooling, so we did that for a short bit, and then my parents left the band.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Good job.
All
All right,
right.
Shannon, you're next.
All right.
Three lies and a truth.
That's what I've got, weirdly,
All
is
right.
I only wrote down the same thing. Okay. I have pet goats named Taco and Tuesday. I have 14 different tattoos. When I was in the 8th grade, I competed in the Junior Olympics for cross country. And I have traveled to every continent.
Dude, these are good.
They are good. Every continent. That includes Antarctica.
It does.
That seems unlikely, Brock.
I
That
think
seems
that's a lie.
unlikely.
I also think 14
Yeah, I think that's a
is
lie.
very specific on the tattoos. I think she has 13.
Yeah,
I'm going to say
it could be
13.
one of those tweaky
Yeah,
lies.
one little
yeah,
subtle
it's
lie.
actually 12 and a half or
Slight
something.
exaggeration.
So if I had said a different number, it wouldn't be as obvious of a
14
lie.
just sounds fishy to me.
I feel like the truth. Well, the Olympic thing could be true,
I feel like it's the Olympics.
but the goats, Taco Tuesday, like that sounds pretty good. If I had goats, I would name them Taco Tuesday.
I love the idea of first of all, Taco Tuesday. Come on. It doesn't get any better than that. And then those as goat names, that's very creative. I still think Shannon to me looks like a runner. I'm going to say she ran in the Junior Olympics. That's a very weird lie to think of.
True. You go with that. I'm going to go with the goats.
Okay.
As the truth. All right, Shannon, what's the truth?
Brock is right. I ran in the Junior Olympics in 8th grade for cross country. That is true. I do have a cat named Taco, and we tried to convince my daughters to name the other cat Tuesday, but they said no. And so, and I want goats. It's like a life goal to have goats. So
Shannon, tell us real quick about the Olympics.
So, well, Junior Olympics, it's like
let's just call it the Olympics. Come on.
Okay. I mean, that's making it quite large. But
where was it at?
It was in Oregon, and it was freezing cold, and you're running cross country. And my dad was a track and cross country coach my whole life. So I started running at like 6 years old or whatever the youngest age you could be on a team was. And so my team went to the Junior Olympics, and I was probably the slowest one, but I went and I was there. Okay. But it was so cold. And my dad was like, you can't wear leggings. It'll slow you down. He was very serious about his level of competition. And so the trick for runners to run in the cold and not freeze, apparently, is to rub olive oil all over your skin to sort of help keep the heat in. So my dad, brought olive oil for me to rub all over my legs. And then years later, I ran into a girl that I competed with, and she was like, I remember you. You're the one with the dad that told us to put olive oil. I was like, oh gosh. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
That's me. That's my dad.
Was it rainy at all?
I think it was like sleeting before the race, almost snowing. It was so cold. It was like November in Oregon.
Dude, Oregon
and
is
a wind.
Like beautiful and awful and oh, it's so beautiful, but it is wet. I was born in Seattle.
It can get cold.
It's that up there can get cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
How fun.
Yeah.
Wow. I went for a run this morning. I did not put any oil on my legs.
I haven't run a day since I was 18, though. So that's my other confession. Yeah.
Really?
No, I haven't run since I was
not
18.
One time.
I mean, a tiny bit, maybe here and there.
Okay.
But barely.
Huh.
A relay
I run
race
after my kids.
Youth group.
Dad burned you out. Your slave driver father burned you out on sports.
All right, Steve, bring it. Are you going 4 or 3?
Well, I've got 4 lies. You want them all?
Bring it.
All right, I got 4 lies and
rule
1
follower.
Well, yeah, okay. All right, first one. I've broken the same ankle 3 times while dirt biking. I met Taylor Swift when she was 16 years old. I hit 2 grand slams in a single Little League baseball game.
Oh, that's a good game.
I once got lost on a mission trip that I was leading and was separated from my team for 3 hours.
I believe that.
And I sang the national anthem at our local minor league baseball game, the Frederick Keys.
Oh man, this is hard.
Give me a quick summary of the 5.
Okay, first one, I broke my ankle 3 times.
Okay, yeah.
Dirt biking. Met Taylor Swift when she was
Gotcha.
16. Hit 2 grand slams in one little league baseball game. Got lost on a mission trip by myself, separated from my team, and then sang the national anthem at the Frederick Keys.
It's got to be the mission trip because that's a story you got to share on this podcast.
I agree. I was feeling like it was the mission trip.
But also, he could be really trying to throw us for a loop with that because
I think it's easy to make a lie, like a subtle lie, like I hit 2 grand slam when we know it was really 1.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yeah.
And then,
you
know, I sang the national anthem. Yeah, but you were in the stands with your family.
Okay.
You were nowhere
that's
near a
true.
mic, you know?
Okay.
So
Fair.
like there are ways to you can fudge things, you know. These professional youth workers are storytellers and
that's right.
I don't know. I'm going to go mission trip too, Shannon.
Yeah. Yep.
You both went with the mission trip?
Oh no, I have a feeling we're wrong.
We're both wrong.
You're both wrong.
Oh, come on.
I've never separated from my team on a mission trip.
Oh.
That does sound like a great story. You could make that one up, but no, that's never happened to me. The truth is I did, in fact, hit 2 grand slams in one little league baseball game.
How old were you at the time?
I peaked at age 12. I was 12.
Okay.
Dude, that is
the greatest moment in a child's life.
Yeah.
2
grand slams. Yeah.
Especially...
The same kid. I made Tommy Mumaw cry. Tommy Mumaw was the pitcher for the other team, and he cried on the mound because I hit a second grand slam
Poor
off
Tommy.
I know. I don't feel sorry for him. It was the greatest day of my life.
Dude, that's insane. That means you had 8 runs?
I had 4 hits, 2 home runs, and 8 RBIs.
But the 3, you had 3 bases loaded, and 4 runs.
Yeah, 4
Twice.
RBIs, each home run. I had 8 RBIs on the day.
Come on.
Yeah, it's a good day.
Okay, you gotta. I don't know sports that well to follow the lingo, but all right, I get it.
Yeah, let's just say it would be a rare thing. Never dirt biked a day in my life.
I just want you to say, Steve, I am proud of 12-year-old Steve.
Thank you. It's been downhill ever since.
Did you go to the snack shop afterwards and order a suicide?
You know what?
Do you remember doing that? Shannon, do you know what suicides are?
Oh yeah, all the sodas
every
mixed.
flavor?
All the sodas mixed. That's what we would do at Little League.
Okay.
Or
ours was
suicide.
If you returned with a ball that was fouled off, or over the fence, and you found it and took it to the stand, you got free snow cone. So I provided 2 free snow cones to someone. I don't know who.
Dude, good
like
work.
that.
Yeah.
All right.
So
it's good.
There's that.
Yeah.
I did learn a lot about both of you in
That's
this.
what I told you. You learn more from the lies than you do from the truth.
Steve and I both athletically peaked in middle school. So
that is true. That is sadly true. All right. So I thought it'd be really good if we just shared a little bit about our calling in the student ministry. We've all been doing this for a while, so maybe just share like how you got into the youth ministry, what it is that's kept you in it, and just a little background, because we all have a different story to tell, and it's an important story. So who wants to go first?
You do, Steve.
All right. So my journey into youth ministry. So I've been a youth pastor now for 23 years, all at the same church, Mountain View Community Church. But my path there is a little different than a lot of folks, because I actually didn't become a youth pastor until I was 35 years old, which makes me really old if you do the math. So I went to college, got a degree in communications with a minor in business. And my first job was a management trainee at a bank. So I was going to be a banker. I spent 2 years wearing a suit to work every single day. And it was about a year into that job that I realized that I hated the corporate lifestyle. It just wasn't my thing. I had 7 employees. I was a branch manager at like age 24. I had 7 employees, all female, all older than me. and they hated me.
Oh.
And it made life so miserable for me because they probably had every right to hate me. I didn't know what I was doing. So anyway, I went to work. I left that position. I went to work for a church as the communications director, which was a much better fit. Church in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And
dude, that's where the chocolate is.
That's where the chocolate is.
Come
you can
on.
smell it from the church. Yeah.
Oh, that's
awesome
cool.
church, Hershey Evangelical Free Church.
Yes.
I was there for 7 years, but it was right after we started there, my wife and I got involved as volunteers, and I was a volunteer with junior high boys, and just felt like, hey, I think I really love this. I think I have these gifts, communication gifts and leadership and so forth. And so I started to think maybe this was my calling. And it's kind of a long story. That was like early 90s when I felt that call. And there was actually a position at the church opening at one point that I applied for and didn't get, and kind of crushed me to some extent. But that set me on a course to go get my ministry degree. So in 1997, my wife agreed that we could move our family to Denver, Colorado. I spent 3 years getting my Master of Divinity at Denver Seminary with the full intention of being a youth pastor.
Hey, Steve, I have a question about Denver Seminary. Was Chap there did you take classes from Chap?
So that's a touchy subject.
Okay.
So I met Chap Clark when I was thinking about going to Denver Seminary, and he had started the youth and family program there, which I was part of. And when I arrived on campus in the fall of 97, Chap had moved out to the West Coast.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And nobody told me.
So Chap left you and
he left me high and dry.
So he came to Fuller, and then he was my boss at Glendale Presbyterian Church.
Yeah, and I've been holding it against him ever since.
And my professor at Fuller.
There you go.
That's funny.
I have not met him since then. He doesn't know this story, but I'm pretty salty about it to this day. But yeah, he started a great program and then he left it. And but I had a great experience at seminary and graduated in 2000. And was hired by the church that I'm at today. At age 35, we moved back to Maryland. Our families are from the East Coast and been here ever since. And I just, I love youth ministry. I intended to be a youth pastor, even with the Master of Divinity degree. It's what I love to do. It fills how God made me to be, I think, with the creative gifts, some of the freedoms that come with being the youth pastor as opposed to being the senior pastor. Although I do love to preach, I've never aspired to that because there are things associated with being the senior pastor that would absolutely crush my soul. Leading elders being high on the list of that. And so I get to preach and fill the itch in that way, and then do the youth ministry. And I love students, love seeing them discover who they are in Christ, love seeing them belong to the family of God and really created a culture of belonging. So that's what drives me in youth ministry. I'm still in it 23 years later. Thought about quitting many times, but haven't. And we'll talk more about that later. So that's my call. I'm still here 23 years later.
Yay, Steve.
Nearing the end, whatever that means. But
dude,
yeah,
that's
still
awesome.
in it for today.
So cool. So Shannon, what about you?
All right, I'll go next. I loved youth ministry when I was in it, middle school, high school. I still remember very distinctly like where I was sitting when I was graduating out of children's ministry, and the youth pastor came in and he played these silly songs on his guitar to introduce himself to us, and he said, "But," and I thought it was the funniest thing that's ever happened in my whole entire life. So I was like sold on youth ministry as a 5th grader going into 6th grade, like fart poop jokes. I am so in. And so I just loved it. It was my like favorite place to be in the whole world. Later in high school, my parents would get divorced and it would become my total safe space and sanctuary from that. So when I graduated high school, I went off to a state school, Cal State Northridge, had no idea what I was going to get a degree in. Probably was going to be an elementary education major because I did like kids. And so that just felt like what I was going to do. But in the questioning, I went and worked at a summer camp, a youth ministry summer camp, and just like had the best time ever there. Let me back up to, as soon as I graduated high school, I got invited to volunteer in youth ministry. So I'm volunteering in youth ministry this whole time, work at a summer camp, and that sort of changed my trajectory. I was there and I had all these people there that had gone to Colorado Christian University and they had a degree in youth ministry. And I just was like, that's my favorite thing. Why would I not go get a degree in my favorite thing?
Yeah.
And so that's sort of what set me on the career path to youth ministry, was go like that summer at summer camp. And so I say I've been in youth ministry for 20 years because I started volunteering 20 years ago, but I got my first job
counts.
like paid.
That counts.
Yeah, I got my first paid job a year after that. So, it's about 20 years in youth ministry. And yeah, I got my degree at Colorado Christian University. I've gone through multiple different little churches, somehow still coming back to Malibu Pacific Church a few times. It's the church I grew up in. And then I ended up taking 10 years to get a degree from Fuller. I have a master's of theology in youth, family, and culture, where I did take many classes from Chap. So, although he also left Fuller before I graduated because I took so long to finish. But the reason I'm still in it and what keeps it going is that I think I go back to what a safe place and a sanctuary it was for me as an adolescent. And my heart just really like bleeds and breaks for teenagers. It's like the thing that makes my heart, pound, the thing that I desire is to help a hurting teenager. And so I think that's what keeps me in it. I also feel super called to the local church in general. And so, being in youth ministry is the path. It's the path for me. And plus it's like really fun and there's poop and fart jokes. So
yes.
That's what keeps me going.
I love it.
So God brought you full circle back. He brought you full circle back to the church that you grew up in.
I grew up in, and my first
awesome
paid
story.
job was in as well, actually. When I was 19, I was the paid junior high coordinator. And so
I love
15 years or so later.
I love that they called you coordinator.
Yeah, of course.
Where did churches get this word coordinator?
I know.
And
it's so funny.
Youth ministry.
My director never came to youth group. Like it was just me and the volunteers. It's like I wasn't coordinating that. I was directing that.
Totally. That's awesome. Yay, Shannon. How fun.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay, so
Brock, you're a mutt.
When my parents quit the band, my dad became a youth pastor. So he actually was my youth pastor for a season before he became a lead pastor. But we were, as a family, at the National Youth Workers Convention, Youth Specialties. I was in 6th grade, just kind of running all over the conference, having a ball as a kid while they were in meetings. One of the general sessions, they used to call them, the speaker, actually the performer was a guy by the name of Steve Taylor. He was the biggest Christian alternative rock guy. Some call him the king of Christian alternative rock music. And now he's a major producer. And Steve Taylor is a legend. I was listening to his cassette tape on my yellow sports Walkman on the airplane all the way to San Francisco for the conference. And there he was on the stage. And he said this. He said, one of my biggest regrets, remember, I'm a 6th grade boy sitting in the crowd with all youth workers. He goes, one of my biggest regrets was that I left youth ministry and I went into music. And I just miss being in the trenches with kids. And what it did, now Steve Taylor was a radical. As a 6th grade boy, that God planted a seed in that moment for me where I went, oh, I don't want to be like him on the stage. Maybe I want to be like these people out here. And so then years later, I kind of forgot about it, but God put a little seed in my heart And,
Hey, can I ask you a question, Brock?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever tell Steve Taylor that story? Have you ever met him since?
I have met him, and we have talked a couple different times, and I did get to tell him that story, and it means a lot to me. But his reaction was, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah.
Do you remember a Christian artist named Charlie Peacock?
Dude, he's the man. Come on, I wore a big man's hat.
Yes. Well, part of my journey includes a song by Charlie Peacock, and I've been meaning to write him a letter for years.
Dude, you should, and he would love
and
it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, there's a song. It's a part of my journey, but I just always wanted to tell him. He's in Nashville. My son lives in Nashville. I'm like, I've got to write this guy a letter.
Dude,
I think
Charlie
he would really
Peacock
appreciate it.
Producing major people.
Oh yeah,
right now.
Yeah, he did the Civil Wars, and yeah.
Dude,
I'm sorry, I interrupted your story. Keep going.
No. So years later, I'm a freshman in college, majoring in PE, playing basketball, and being discipled by a professor. And one day, and the way he was talking about the kingdom was making me question my whole PE idea. And so I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, what do you see in me? Like, I'm basically going to play dodgeball for the rest of my life as a PE teacher. Like, what do you see in me? Like, maybe I shouldn't be doing that." And he looks at me and he goes, "Brock, you would be an amazing youth pastor." And when he said that, my 6th grade heart just came to the surface, and I knew that was it. This is it. That's it. I felt so excited. I still get to play dodgeball. Dude, I love hitting kids in the head with the dodgeball. And
Yes.
we play old school rules. If you get hit in the face, you're still out, homie. But
you get in the face, you're out for life.
Ooh,
That's how
brutal.
no, but we while I am still in it, it's been over 30 years, and God hasn't released me, and I love it. I love playing with kids still. I love crying with kids. They have my heart, and it's still so moving to be able to journey with kids. I love it. My favorite thing isn't to preach or definitely not to lead games. I hate it. But to sit at Starbucks and listen to their story, or to pray with them and over them. Yeah. And dude, I feel honored to be a part of what God's doing in their hearts and minds. And so I can't get out of it.
Yep.
That's so good. That's so good. So when people ask us, when are you going to be a real pastor, or when are you going to, when are you going to really get serious with your life? I just shake my head and say, why would I want to do anything else?
Yep.
Exactly.
It's a demotion.
That's right.
It's funny. My dad's biggest regret was that he left youth ministry to become a lead pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him telling me that, and it was at a season in my life where I was like, well, maybe I should more money, more authority. And he told me that, and I was like, it kind of solidified my calling. Like, oh yeah, okay. But yeah,
that's good.
Not that you shouldn't go do that if God's calling you to, but God's never called me to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Same.
Love it.
So our 3 experiences, all very different, but all kind of driven by the same passion. And I don't know if we added up the total years, but it's a lot, right? And so I think what I'd like to see this show become is just us pouring out our hearts for what student ministry is, sharing the things that we love about it, things that are hard about it, having really vulnerable conversations, with the hopes that somebody listening to this will overcome that patch where they want to get out, and they'll continue to march forward into the future of student ministry. It doesn't get any easier. I think it's harder than ever, but that just makes it more rewarding than ever as well. So hopefully this show will be part of somebody's journey in pursuing that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, our goal is to release shows about every other week. And if you have topics that you want to hear us discuss, you can send them our way. A way to reach out to us, you can email us at youthministrysherpas@gmail.com. We also are working on getting a Substack page available, and we'll share that in the show notes. You can listen to us on all podcast formats, and anywhere you find podcasts, give us a 5-star review. That would be awesome, so people can hear about, learn about, and share this show.
Smash that subscribe button. Is that what I'm supposed to say?
That's what you're supposed to say.
Is that how it goes?
I love it.
I've actually never said that, but that's really well done.
Dude,
We're going to have you do that at the end of every show,
Shannon. A little cooler than we are.
Yeah, for sure. Hey guys, I just want to thank you for being willing to do this. I know it's a big commitment, and I hope it's going to be fun for you as well as we get to know each other better and share our stories and encourage people to continue in youth ministry and have these conversations with the windows down. It's going to be great.
It's awesome.
We will be back in 2 weeks with another show, episode 2 of the Youth Ministry Sherpas Coast to Coast. Until then, keep going. We love you. We will talk to you soon. Bye. You guys can say goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
I waved.